Alright, hey guys, I'm TCG back in the video. With this remember you guys a Memento deck profile, and this is post Valiant Smashers. So we're gonna get started right away. I run one copy of the Nether Skull Dragon. So here you only need the one copy because this is the boss monster of the deck, and it is you're pretty much able to search it out in multiple ways. You're able to pitch it to the grave in multiple ways. And yeah, so you just really need the one copy. As long as you don't lose that one copy, then you're pretty safe having it because you don't really want to run the extra one for the brick. Horn Dragon here isn't the most powerful Memento monster, but it does kind of help you have another Memento in name. You can, like, if you want to drop this, you can totally do that. It would mean that you would just have to rely on getting the other Memento monsters out or in the grave just so that you're able to summon out your Nether Skull Dragon. 3 copies of Tatsu here. So Tatsu is very powerful because it's able to special summon itself out if you control no monsters other than Memento monsters, so you're easily able to get this out. And then since this Memento monster is actually the highest level Memento monster besides, you know, the Horned Dragon or Nether Skull Dragon here, you can destroy it and get basically whatever you want out of it. Destroying, for instance, you're going to use this card to destroy itself, and if you do, you can send any number of Memento monsters with different names from each other from your deck to your grave whose total levels are less than or equal to the destroyed monster's original name. So usually you want to pitch the level 1 Memento Goblin, the level 1 Mace, and then the level 3 Fairy Witch. And you can fill up your grave with a bunch of names, so it makes it really easy to get another Skull Dragon here. But regardless, you definitely want the 3 copies of Memento Tatsu. And then here I run 3 copies of Dark Blade. So Dark Blade is a card that I see people run varying degrees of copies for, and I just decided to run 3 because I do like that you're able to just pop this and go straight into your Fairy Witch, and it's another name, so that's great because it makes it where you don't really have to rely on getting Horn Dragon out here. And Fairy Witch is a powerful mental monster, so you do want to be able to do that. 3 copies of Fairy Witch, as I said, is a powerful mental monster as it's able to search for a mental monster for your deck to your hand. And yeah, you just need the 3 copies. 3 copies of Ash because it's a great, you know, generic hand trap. 2 copies of Goblin. This card is going to let you, of course, pop a mental monster you control and then send 2 Memento cards with different names from each other from your deck to the grave. So the nice thing about this is that you're actually able to use this to pitch your spells and traps if you choose to do so, because then you can use the field spell to set them onto your board. So that's really nice. 3 copies of Mace. So Mace here is pretty powerful just because they're in your opponent's main phase. If you control Memento, the Nether Skull Dragon, you can discard this card, then target one face of monster your opponent controls, take control of it until the end phase. Pretty powerful, just being able to take your opponent's monster during their turn. It's very annoying, and yeah, I definitely like running 3 copies. 1 copy of Triple Tactic Talents, just a weird one up that I like to have here in case I'm going second. Then I run 1 copy of Terraforming because the field swap for this deck is really good, so you want to be able to search that out. 3 copies of Pot of Prosperity because you want to just search out your 1-ofs. As you're going to see with the combos, there's a lot of ways you're able to like really build on the stack, and you can do very simple 1 or 2 card combos, so being able to use this search things out is nice. 1 copy of Memento Boneback. I see some people dropping this card entirely, and you can totally choose to do that if you do want to. It's just a powerful monster that if a face of Memento monster you control leaves the field because of an opponent's card, you're able to get out your Nether Skull Dragon. So I just think it's a nice card to have in case they actually do want to interact with you while you play. 1 copy of Call by the Grave because hand traps. 3 copies of Memento Bone Party, being able to basically use the Memento monster's effect and just ignore that it has to be a level under it. So you use that card for that, and it's powerful, it's effective. 3 copies of Nether Skull Temple Memontolin. So this card is very powerful engine of the deck, and you definitely do need 3 copies of this card, just because when you're popping your Memento monsters using their effects, you're able to generate a lot more advantage using this field spell. And not only that, but once returning during your end phase, you can target a mental spell or trap in the grave and set it. So like I said, it works really well with Goblin. 3 copies of Imperm, just a hand trap of choice. 1 copy of Mentor Fracture Dance. It's not the most powerful of the mental traps, but it's nice. You're going to be able to pop a card on the field. You're able to reduce your opponent's monster's attack by a little bit, so that can be nice if you're able to pull that off. 3 copies of There Can Be Only One. So with this deck, you're running 1 of every like different type of monster. That's just the way the archetype works. And if you can run this card, then you can run it. Obviously, there's a lot of people that don't like this card and think it's toxic. I do also think that it's a toxic card, but I do want it to be known that this would probably help the deck out a lot, just having this here. So if you want to cut it out, you know, out of morals or whatever, then you can cut this out, find something else. But yeah, I'd say definitely if you want to run the most optimal version of the deck, I'd at least consider this. 1 copy of Mental Cranium Burst because this card basically makes it where if you control the Nether Skull Dragon, you're just going to be able to negate 5 things. A lot of negates that you can do using this card. So you definitely want to set this up with your main boss monster if you're able to, just to be able to stop your opponent from activating a monster effect. Alright guys, before I go to the extra deck, if you guys are enjoying the video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and let's get started. So I run 1 copy of Zeus because you have a good amount of exceeds, as you can see, so you could just go straight into this. This is the new Superstar Slayer Typhon, so you might have seen it in my previous deck profile with the Centurion. It's just a nice monster that you can kind of, if your opponent sets a powerful board, you can sit on this, and it's pretty effective. 1 copy of Baguska, because even though it's not the most optimal monster to get out, if you're able to, it could be nice to just sit on this. Downer Magician and Lyrelist, because you do have multiple level 1s, so being able to go into this and power up your Zeus is nice. Underworld Goddess of the Closed World, powerful boss monster that you can get out relatively easily, so that's nice to know. Axel Skull Talker, just a boss monster if you really want to finish your opponent. Nightmare Unicorn, Nightmare Phoenix, just a way to interact with your opponent a bit. Same thing with Donner Dagger here, you're going to be able to pop something. SP Little Knight as well. This card is a little difficult to get right now, but it is a powerful card and you are able to use it in multiple decks, so that's the nice thing about that. Nightmare Cerberus, it is like a little bit of flex spots that you can play around with here, as you can see with all the Nightmare monsters. Sky Striker Ace is of course, it's another card that is nice to have, isn't really necessary. And then 1 copy of IP Masquerena, because you can go into the Unicorn. Then Karibo, just because if you need to pitch one of your, get rid of one of your level 1 monsters, then you can do so using Linkaribo. For the side deck, these are cards that I consider but ended up dropping. So Dark is a, you're running a lot of dark monsters, so being able to get this in order to bring something out, this is nice. 1 copy of Anima, because Anima is a great level 1, and being able to take one of your opponent's monsters can be nice and really annoying for them. And then another copy of Triple Tactic Talents, in case you do want to deal with going like second more and want to have a way to interact with your opponent's board a bit. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to stay tuned for the combos and make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all that. I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching.